Hi everyone, my name's Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today we are going to use the Embellished Ornaments bundle to make this very supremely elegant card. I want you to take a nice close-up of it. You can see it has red foil paper, and then there's shimmery white, and then it also uses the Holidays Fancy Foil Vellum, and then an iced rhinestone, and it's so pretty. And then you open it up and you have some lovely black and white stamping on the inside to kind of go with the whole theme of the card. So let's go ahead and get started and we'll learn how to make this card. The Embellished Ornaments bundle can be found in the 2015 holiday catalog. You'll find it on page 15, and you can purchase it separately, so you could get the ornaments by themselves, or you could get the stamp set by itself, or you could save 15% and purchase them together. So what are we going to start with first? We are going to start with some basic black cardstock. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and then scored at 4 1/4. And what we're going to do is just fold that in half along the score line. And then on the inside panel, I've gone ahead and I've stamped. But the panel that's on the inside is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I used the stamps from the Embellished Ornament stamp set, and I stamped in black. I used Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad, and then I also used a real red ink pad, and then I just adhered that to the inside panel. And now for the outside panel, we are going to start with a piece of red foil paper. Red foil paper can be found on page 26 of the 2015 holiday catalog, and I've cut this at 4 by 5 1/4. And then we are going to go to the Big Shot machine, which I have already done, and using the Boughs and Berries embossing folder on page 30 of the holiday 2015 catalog, I went ahead and I embossed this. Now I wanted to deboss it. So to do that, I put the holiday paper face down onto my embossing folder. Had I gone face up, and you can always tell which is face up because that's where the Stampin' Up! Logo is and the Sizzix logo, I would have had the embossing bumped up on the red foil. But as it was, now the embossing is debossed, and that was the look I wanted on my card. So I'm just going to take this, and using some multi-purpose liquid glue, I'm just going to put a nice line all the way around the outside, and then we're going to glue this directly onto the front panel of our card, just making sure that it's nice and even in between the borders. And that's all there is to it. That part of the card is done. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use some vellum. This is our Holidays Fancy Foil Vellum, and you get 3 sheets of each style. There's trees, and then kind of a candy stripe paper, and then these wonderful silver snowflakes. So what I did is I took the snowflake paper and cut it to 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to glue this to the front of my card. Now we don't have to worry too much about the glue showing through because we are going to be layering this, and this is the bottom layer, so the glue will not show through. But we're just going to turn this around and set this on our card and just make sure that is nice and even. And then the next thing that we need is a piece of shimmery white paper. Let me move this aside for a minute. And the shimmery white paper is cut at 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then I use my Stampin' Up! Delicate Ornaments Thinlits. I use this one, and I just set it right in the middle and ran it through my Big Shot machine. And I have already done that. And what I did is I used the Elegant Dots embossing folder. I love that Elegant Dot embossing folder. I think it's, well, first of all, it truly is very elegant, and also to me it kind of looks Christmassy because I don't know, I remember a lot of different plastic baubles when I was a kid that were hung up around the house that sort of looked like this at Christmas time. And so now we're just going to glue this panel directly onto our silver panel. So let me go ahead and grab some multi-purpose liquid glue again. And I'm just gonna do a skinny little line all the way around, and then we can just glue this right on top of that vellum panel. And then the next thing we're going to do is use some silver foil paper, and I just used a little scrap, and then I used my Delicate Ornaments Thinlet dies and ran that through the Big Shot machine. And so all we have to do is use, again, a little multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to adhere this to our panel. Now, one thing I could have done, but I decided not to, is I could have, when I ran this through the Big Shot machine, I could have gone ahead and just taken out this section of our silver snowflake panel so that you would see just red behind here, and that's what I did on my original card, but I thought it would be kind of fun to have the snowflakes shining through. So I'm just going to set this right in here, and then you can kind of see some snowflakes shining through the back, which looks really neat. And you won't really be able to see that much, because now what we're going to do is we're going to top that with another panel right over the top, another panel of the snowflake vellum. So what I did is I just took a piece of scrap of this snowflake vellum, and then I took my die, the open die that coordinates with this particular piece, and what I wanted to do was to make sure that my snowflake was down here in the lower right hand side of my ornament. I just kind of moved this around until I found a spot that looked good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use, again, some glue, and I'm going to glue the very top, because you won't see through where this is, and you won't see through here. So this will be attached just in two places on the card. So we're going to flip this over and attach this to the card. Oh, that looks so pretty. And then to embellish this snowflake here, we are going to use a paper piercing tool and one of these iced rhinestones. The iced rhinestones can be found on page 24 of the Holiday 2015 catalog. And we're just going to set this right here, right on top of that snowflake. And that looks so good, doesn't it? Then we're going to add, with the red foil, the topper to our ornament. And I just put a half a dimensional on there, and we're just going to set this right here, and that will cover up the other little glue spot. And then all we have to do is add a piece of silver cording. This also is found in the Holiday catalog. It's on page 24 for the 2015 Holiday catalog. And all I do is I string it through here, and then I tie it, do a little once over, and then I'm going to add a bow. Now this is a little bit long. It's a leftover piece from another project that I was working on. Normally I wouldn't cut quite this much to embellish my card, but then we can just tie this into a cute little bow up here, and then we'll take our scissors and trim up these ends for just a darling card. And there it is. Our card is complete, and it looks so cute. So here's the card we just did, and here's the card I had completed in advance. And they're just beautiful. So if you have someone on your Christmas list that you want to send a supremely elegant card to, I think this would be just perfect. So here we go. Thank you so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. I truly appreciate you. If you don't already have a demonstrator, please visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare. I have links there where you can place product orders, and I always take good care of my customers. You can count on that. Have a great day. Bye-bye.